Thank you so much, guys. Of course, excited to be here with victorious Maxlore. A story we're hearing more and more of as the weeks go on, especially after your 2-0 over OG. But I want to talk to you about kind of that set as a whole. Game 1 seemed really rough for you guys and really clean for Vitality, but it felt like you almost immediately turned it around in Game 2. What changed between these two games?
I think Game 1, there was huge draft errors in how we drafted, and so we obviously immediately changed that because I think Game 1, they just pressured all over the map and there was like almost no counterplay. And also Game 1, I felt like our communication wasn't that good compared to Game 2. Like everyone talked a lot more, but Game 1 it was just slacking a bit in my opinion. So Game 2 was a lot better for us than Game 1, but it was still, yeah, pretty hard to close out.
In the end, though, did come out with the tie there to round it out. And, of course, beating out OG, as I mentioned earlier. Communication, something you mentioned right there. Has it been improving for the team? It seems like you guys have been working a lot better, both in terms of teamfight execution and in terms of moving across the map.
Yeah, communication has been getting better because the Koreans are learning more English, and in scrims or in-game, like, people would point out, like, oh, you could have communicated that better or blah, blah, blah. And so as we play more, we improve our teamwork, which is, I think, our biggest problem right now.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward, of course, you guys are going to be matched up against Schalke tomorrow. How do you feel about that matchup, both in terms of going up against Gilius and in terms of just Schalke as a team?
I mean, going up against Gilius will be fun because, like, it's just one of those junglers that you just really want to play against and really want to win against. Against Schalke as a whole, they've been doing a lot better than I thought they would. So I think we just have to care for some of their compositions that they're really good on or signature champions, and I think we should be able to win.
Definitely. Good to hear the confidence coming in, winning more games, moving up in the standings for Giants. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me, man. But of course, with that, we are going to start to send things over to Shox at the Analyst desk to break that series down.
Thank you very much, Sifa. Well, he talked a lot about Schalke, and we're going to give you a lowdown on that G2 Schalke game in just a minute. However, Verius, you were looking very closely at this game. How did Giants manage to win that second game?
Well, they largely changed things up coming into Game 2. You heard it from Maxwell where he said there were some draft issues in Game 1. What they did do is they banned Nidalee away from Mighty Bear, which alleviated so much jungle pressure, and Mighty Bear did not have the same sort of performance that he was able to replicate in his Game 1. So they also managed to get Azir for Knight, and he was able to make these plays in, from the mid lane. So that was absolutely monumental. And with Giants having a few more comfort picks, they were feeling a lot more confident.
Yeah, you could definitely see the kind of gamble they put on that Aurelia as well on the side of Vitality. And just, I think Giants did very well playing around the top lane triangle. Deficio alluded to this as well in the cast, saying, you know what, they took away attention from their bot lane, pour all their resources in their kind of their playstyle around the top lane triangle, and they shut down Vitality. And if EpicSkillshot doesn't get rolling, you know, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, much like in Game 1, Giants get an early objective. You want to take another look at that tower dive?
Yeah, this was actually a very well-executed tower dive coming out from Giants overall, because something that we've been wondering is how well can Giants actually execute and work as a team, and this tower dive is an excellent illustration of how they were able to do that. They focus in, they come in from the flank, they're able to get the primary targets down, and then once they forced Vitality away, they take down the turret, and then they chase on for the rest of the kills. And this is a big disparity from what we saw in the past, where where Giants were very much about let's get the kills, or let's just tunnel on the objective, and this time they were managing their resources much more efficiently than they have done.
Yeah, and that play also caught Vitality by surprise, because Arise just joined in way too late. He was teleporting in from the bottom left of your screen, and like he didn't even make it into the fight by the time this replay ended. So that's definitely either he walked or teleported, but he ended up on the wrong side of that fight regardless. So definitely a good proactive move there.
And the big thing for Giants in particular was, how are they now going to be able to close it out? Because against Origin, they had a good early lead, and then it was very back and forth. And unfortunately for Giants, they seem to do another Giants thing where they push their lead a little bit too far, and they end up getting caught out of position. And this is an example of where they're trying to force this final Tier 3 turret, and they just overextend, they overcommit. And I want you to keep your eye on Knight, because he forces his Zhonyas here. He still has his flash available. He doesn't decide to use it, and he ends up getting caught out and throws away the kill. So it was just a matter of Giants being a little bit too overconfident, too over-aggressive. They throw their lead away, they allow Vitality to come back in, and if it wasn't for Giants being able to get a Baron later on, this game could have gone back in Vitality's favor.
Yeah, definitely. But Giants, very nice on them. A 1-on-1, even against this opponent, is also very important in the long scope of things. Our player in the game for Giants, Smitty J. Of course, a lot of expectations for a lot of these players, and he's not someone that we usually expect to step up as a player of the game. We had Knight a couple of times, so what distinguished him in this game from his other ones?
Well, the fact that he got a Trundle into an Aurelia match definitely helps out.
Pretty good.
But it very much, as Crepo illustrated and Deficio on the cast, it was very much about this top lane triangle from Giants, and helping Smitty J succeed is really what allowed him to really shine. And the fact that there was putting so much support there to help him out was very beneficial.
It's his birthday too, so
yeah, if there's ever a time to shine,
there we go.
give yourself a gift.
Definitely. So Giants with a 1-on-1 versus Vitality, while Giants were doing that here over on ELCS 2. On ELCS 1, G2 and Schalke are in Game 2, and you kept an eye on that one.
Yeah, honestly, this is why I'm staring in the distance sometimes. It's a fantastic game so far. Steve is going off. He's been, honestly, the main focal point of this entire series. If you look at G2, low econ top laner, heavy priority in the bot lane, complete opposite here for Schalke, the way they've been playing. Game 1, they had the Trundle pick on Steve. Now Game 2, Olaf, and he's bypassing all these crowd control effects. The Hecarim charging in, Steve doesn't care. Nami tidal wave, Steve doesn't care. And he's creating space for these team fights that Schalke is winning right now. They seem to be taking down Expect again. They just took a Baron, and every time Steve takes out 1 or 2 members, that's when Fox steps forward with his Swain, and that continued DPS output is doing wonders here for Schalke. So they're performing much better as G2 as a team. The only reason they lost Game 1 is due to individual errors.
And we can see now this is a live check-in of the game going on there. As you can see on the Nexus, not on the Nexus turret just yet, but pushing into the base Schalke. So we'll see how that evolves, and you guys can catch the end of that game over on EULCS 1. For here, though, it is time for us to take a quick break and reset the Rift. Before we go, we sat down with some of the top mid laners in Europe to talk about arguably the most famous play in League of Legends. For the full video, head over to eu.llesports.com/midlaneweek. Let's take a listen.
So talking about going back in time to modern day, I want to show you guys a clip. Probably the most famous mid lane clip is the Expect backdoor.
You can see this coming in there. Peke is definitely on towards the Nexus. Kevin is going to be able to get towards him.
Is this Peke being good, or is this SK being bad?
I think a bit of both. Both. Yeah, both. For sure.
Why is it both?
Because I rewatched it a couple of times, and I saw some players being boosted from enemy team.
What exactly?
I mean, I don't now remember exactly, but Peke did good, like sidestepping and ulting over the Nexus and hitting the Nexus, you know. But I remember some skill shots being missed and some movement being a bit questionable. It was like,
you just get lucky?
It was like...
well, not really, because my intention was not really to finish the game at first, but just to not let them finish. But then suddenly they send the only guy that cannot stop me, they send him to stop me. And I'm like, oh, nice, and Olaf. Because at first I'm going to back, like, okay, I stopped it, I'm just going to back. And then he's like, oh, but it's Olaf. So I hit the Nexus for like, I don't know, 5-10 seconds. And then in the last second, the Cho'Gath came. And I think it's hard to blame him. I mean, it's not easy to blame him because he did really bad skill shots. But I think he was really nervous because he sees the Nexus with 200 HP. And he has to do a Cura W somewhere. And I think he was just super nervous and spam his buttons everywhere where he could, and that was the problem. But yeah, I think if he played that better, or they played that better and sent Cho'Gath earlier or someone else earlier, I wouldn't have finished. So.
If they just sent like 2 people back there, they
instantly,
they could have ended the game, and the Expect wouldn't have been able to end it. So obviously it was well duked by Xparkle, but it was still some questionable decision from the SK Gaming team.
What goes through your mind when you think about that clip? I mean, that's now so many years ago. Is it still...
Well, one funny thing I remember is that I could have actually finished easily because Cyanide was stopping someone in their jungler, and suddenly he stopped chasing him and went back. So he allowed the Cho'Gath to recall. So if Cyanide kept chasing this guy, it wouldn't have even been close. He wouldn't have been like as close as he was. I would have just finished with the HP I had, and it would have been not so impressive.
But it wouldn't be as clutch as it.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been so impressive. So now I remember that thanks to Cyanide,
so just
not giving a fuck about what I was doing, and he's like, I gotta stop chasing this Cho'Gath, I'm just gonna recall to base. That's what made it so close.
You can see this coming in there. Peke is definitely on towards the Nexus. Kevin is going to be able to get towards him. He's trying to do it, but meanwhile, they're in the base. Yellow Star's trying to defend them in the base. Peke is trying to take the Nexus down. Is anyone